You've thrown away hundreds of these. That little packet stamped "Do Not Eat" that falls out of a new pair of shoes, a vitamin bottle, a bag of beef jerky, practically anything you order online these days. Most people glance at it for half a second and toss it straight in the trash without a second thought. It feels like packaging filler, something included out of habit. But that free little packet is quietly capable of replacing over $150 worth of specialty products, cluttering your closets, your toolbox, and your junk drawer right now. Jewelry cleaner, rust preventer, a dehumidifier, even a $12 shoe deodorizer. And here's the thing, nobody's rushing to tell you that. There's a lot more money in selling you all of those separate products than there is in reminding you that the free packet, already sitting in your kitchen drawer, does the job of every single one of them. So today we're counting down 18 ways to use silica gel that most people have completely forgotten about. And number 1, once you know it, you'll never throw another packet away again. Let's get into it.
Number 18. Freshen musty closets and drawers. That musty smell in your closet or your dresser drawers that you've just learned to live with? That's not your clothes going bad. That's trapped moisture sitting in a closed-up space with nowhere to go, and once it sets in, it doesn't leave on its own. So instead of spraying a scented freshener over it, which just masks the smell for a few hours and then lets it creep right back, tuck a few silica gel packets into the corners of your closet shelf or drop one in the back of each drawer. It quietly pulls that dampness out of the air, and once the damp is gone, the smell goes with it. It's not covering the problem up. It's actually solving it for free. Number 17. Keep your shoes and boots odor-free. Speaking of moisture and smell, your shoes are one of the worst offenders in the house. That sour shoe smell isn't really about how long you've worn them. It's about the moisture your feet leave behind that never fully dries out between wears, and bacteria absolutely love that damp environment. Drop 2 or 3 packets into each shoe overnight, especially boots and sneakers, and by morning that trapped dampness is gone. Do this a couple times a week and you'll notice the smell just stops coming back, no matter how hard you work out or how many miles you put on them. Number 16, stop gym bags from souring. Same exact trick, just on the go. If you've got a gym bag, a dance bag, or a work bag that always smells a little off no matter how many times you wash it, the problem usually isn't the bag itself. It's whatever's damp inside it, quietly breeding bacteria between uses. Toss a small mesh pouch of packets into the bottom of the bag and leave it there permanently. It'll quietly keep the whole bag dry between uses, so you're not opening it up to that smell every single time you go to grab your gear. Number 15. Keep your spices potent longer. Here quote, S1, most people never connect to moisture. If your spice cabinet has started tasting a little flat lately, humidity is usually the reason, not just age. Moisture in the air slowly breaks down the essential oils that give spices their punch, which is exactly why that jar of paprika from 2 years ago barely tastes like anything anymore, even though it's technically not expired. Tuck a small packet into the back of your spice cabinet or drawer, and your spices will hold their strength for months longer than they normally would, which means you're not replacing jars nearly as often. Number 14. Stop flour, sugar, and salt from clumping. If you've ever gone to scoop sugar and hit a solid brick instead, that's humidity again, working exactly the same way it does in your spice cabinet. Drop a packet directly into your canisters of flour, sugar, or salt, and they'll stay loose and pourable. Instead of hardening into a lump you have to chip apart with a spoon or a knife. This works especially well in humid climates or during the summer months, when your pantry is fighting moisture the hardest. Number 13. Preserve garden seeds for next season. Now this one's a favorite with anybody who gardens. If you're saving seeds to plant again next year, moisture is the single biggest thing working against you. It's what causes seeds to mold, rot, or sprout too early inside the packet. So by the time spring rolls around, you're left with a jar of dead seed instead of a garden. Put your saved seed envelopes into an airtight jar with a couple of silica packets, and they'll stay dry and viable all the way through winter. This is a trick our grandparents actually understood the principle of, even without the packets. They kept seed jars in the coolest, driest corner of the cellar for exactly this reason, because they knew a damp seed never comes up in spring. The packet just does that same job better, and it costs you nothing extra. Number 12. Protect documents and old photographs. If you've got important papers or old family photos boxed up in the attic or a closet, moisture is slowly working against you there too, even if you can't see it yet. Over time, damp air causes paper to warp, ink to fade, and mold to creep in along the edges, and once that damage sets in, it's not coming back, no matter how careful you are afterward. Slip a few packets into the storage box with your documents, deeds, or photographs, and you're giving them a fighting chance to actually survive the years instead of quietly deteriorating in the dark where you won't notice until it's too late. Number 11, safeguard your emergency kit. This is the one most people never think about until it's too late. Matches that have gone damp won't strike when you actually need them. Batteries sitting in a humid drawer corrode faster than they should and lose their charge. Medications can lose their stability if they've been sitting in moisture for months without you realizing it. If you keep an emergency box with matches, spare batteries, and basic medical supplies, drop a couple of silica packets right in with them. It's the time you really need those items to work exactly when you need them, not fail you, because nobody thought about the humidity quietly building up in that box for the last 2 years. All right, we're halfway through the list, and we've already covered your pantry, your closets, your garden, and your emergency supplies, and you still haven't spent a single dollar doing it. But the next stretch is where the real savings show up, because we're moving into metal, electronics, and the one item on this list that's probably saved more phones than anything else in your medicine cabinet. So stick with me, because number 1 is the one that changes how you think about every packet you've ever thrown away. Number 10, protect silverware from tarnish. If your good silverware only comes out a few times a year and always needs a polish first, this is why. Tarnish forms faster in humid drawers than dry ones, and it happens even when the silverware is just sitting there untouched. Drop a packet or two into your silverware chest or drawer, and you'll notice it stays brighter for months at a stretch instead of dulling every few weeks, which means one less thing to scrub before company comes over. Number 9, stop jewelry and watches from tarnishing. Same principle, just for the pieces you actually wear. Tuck a small packet into your jewelry box, and rings, bracelets, and watches will hold their shine far longer without you having to polish them every time you want to wear something. One quick note here, though. Skip this with pearls, opals, or other soft, porous gemstones. Silica gel is a little too aggressive at pulling moisture and can actually dry those stones out and cause cracking over time. Stick to metal, diamonds, and hard stones, and this one works beautifully without any risk to the pieces you care about most. Number 8, protect sewing needles, pins, and scissors. If you sew, you already know the frustration of pulling out a needle that's gone spotty with rust, or scissors that snag fabric instead of cutting clean through it. That's moisture working on the metal in your sewing box, slowly, without you noticing until it's already done damage that can't be undone. A packet tucked into your sewing kit keeps the air around your needles and blades dry, so they stay sharp and rust-free far longer, saving you from replacing tools that should last for years. Number 7, keep your razor sharp longer. Your razor dulls faster than it should for one simple reason. It lives in the most humid room in your entire house. The bathroom is basically a moisture chamber every time you shower, and that dampness is what causes oxidation on the blade, not just the act of shaving itself like most people assume. Keep a small container with a few packets near your razor, or store the razor in a container with one inside, and you'll notice you're not replacing blades nearly as often. Razors aren't cheap, especially the good ones, so this one adds up faster than you'd expect. Number 6, keep your tools rust-free. This is a bigger one. If you've got a toolbox, a shed, or a garage cabinet full of wrenches, saws, and hand tools, damp air is quietly rusting all of it, even when everything looks fine on the surface today. By the time you actually see rust, the damage has already started underneath, and it only gets worse from there. Toss a handful of packets into your toolbox or hang a few in your shed, and you're creating a dry pocket of air around tools that would otherwise be sitting in humidity every single day of the year. This is one of those fixes that costs you nothing but saves you from replacing tools that should have lasted a lifetime, especially the good ones you don't want to have to buy twice. Number 5, protect stored electronics. Moisture is the silent killer of anything with a circuit board. Even small amounts of humidity sitting in a laptop bag or a drawer of old cables and chargers can lead to slow internal corrosion that you won't notice until the device just stops working one day for no obvious reason. Drop a couple of packets into your laptop bag, camera case, or the drawer where you keep spare electronics, and you're creating a dry microenvironment that protects everything sitting inside it, whether you're using it every day or it's just sitting in storage. Number 4, stop camera and lens fogging. If you've ever pulled out a camera after it's been sitting for a while and found a hazy film across the lens, that's condensation building up inside the case. It's more common than people realize, especially with temperature changes, and it can leave a permanent streak across your shots if it's not dealt with in time. Store your camera with 2 or 3 silica packets in the case, and that trapped moisture gets pulled out before it ever has a chance to fog the glass or work its way into the internal components. Number 3, rescue a soaked phone. Now, you've probably heard the old advice to bury a wet phone in a bowl of rice. Here's the truth. Rice is actually a pretty weak fix, and it's one of the most repeated pieces of bad advice out there. It absorbs moisture slowly and unevenly, which means your phone is still sitting in dampness for hours while you're waiting and hoping it works out. Silica gel was engineered specifically to pull moisture out of the air, which makes it dramatically more effective at the exact job people are using rice for. If your phone takes a dip, pull the case off, remove the SIM card if you can get to it, and bury the phone in a sealed container with as many silica packets as you can fit around it. Leave it overnight, undisturbed. That's the same method professionals actually recommend over rice, and it could be the difference between saving a $600 phone and being forced to buy a brand new one. Okay, before we get to number 1, if this list has been useful so far, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because number 1 isn't just another use. It's the one thing that turns this entire video from 18 separate tips into one single tool you'll never have to buy again. Number 2. Save winter clothes and quilts from mildew and storage. When you pack away winter coats, quilts, or wool sweaters for the season, the moisture that gets sealed into that box or bin with them is exactly what causes that musty, mildewed smell you find months later when you go to pull them back out. Tuck several packets in among the folded fabric before you close the lid, and everything comes out in the spring smelling fresh instead of stale, with none of that closed up sour smell you've probably just accepted as normal. This is a trick our grandmothers understood instinctively, even before these packets existed. They used cedar and careful airing for the exact same reason, fighting the exact same damp with whatever tools they had. The packet just makes that old principle effortless. No cedar chest required. Number 1, recharge and reuse the packets themselves. And here's the one thing almost nobody tells you, and it's the reason this whole video matters. Silica gel isn't a single-use item, no matter how disposable it looks. Once a packet has absorbed all the moisture it can hold, it doesn't stop working for good. It just needs to be dried back out, and that takes almost no effort at all. Spread the packets on a baking sheet and set them in a low oven, right around 200 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, for about an hour. That gentle heat drives the trapped moisture back out of the beads, and the packet comes out ready to go to work all over again, just as effective as the day it arrived in the box. That means every single use on this list. Your seeds, your tools, your jewelry, your phone rescue kit, all 18 of them, can come from the same handful of packets, over and over, for years. You're not buying a rust preventer, a dehumidifier, a jewelry cleaner, and a seed keeper. You're using one free thing that already showed up in your mailbox, that you were about to throw straight into the trash, and just never throwing it away again. Free packet, 18 uses, and you'll never look at that do not eat bag the same way again. So tell me, which one of these are you trying first? Or is there a use I missed that you already swear by? Drop it in the comments, because I read every single one of them, and I learned just as much from you as you do from me. And YouTube thinks you'll like this video next, so go check it out. I'll see you in the next one.